Beyond the Gates spoilers tease that Leslie is currently believed to be Eva's mother, a revelation that has sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community. From the moment Leslie first cradled Eva in her arms, the town embraced the image of a bereaved mother rediscovering joy after Laura's tragic accident. Church fundraisers, neighborhood picnics, and even the local newspaper ran feel-good stories portraying Leslie as a widow who found solace in raising Laura's little companion. But beneath the warm smiles and tearful embraces, a more sinister narrative has begun to surface, one that threatens to shatter every comforting lie the town has clung to. For months, rumors have circled about a shadowy figure named Madison, a name whispered in hushed tones at the diner and overheard on late-night phone calls. No one knew the exact nature of Leslie's connection to Madison, but the smile Leslie wore whenever Madison's name surfaced was too knowing, too intimate to be innocent. When Kat Richardson first heard that Madison had been spotted in tow at the gas station at dawn, lingering by the abandoned boathouse, she felt a chill run down her spine. Memories of Laura's accident flooded back, the screech of tires, the scream that echoed across the river, the crushing news that Laura had been gravely injured. Leslie's subsequent outpouring of grief had seemed genuine then. But with Madison's unexplained reappearance, a darker possibility emerged. It began when Kat discovered a fragment of an old journal in Laura's locked drawer, entries Laura had hidden from everyone. In scrawled handwriting, Laura had noted suspicious late-night meetings between Elle and an unnamed accomplice, references to a plan that would change everything, and a fleeting sense of dread that someone close to her intended to betray her. Kat remembered how Laura's color had drained from her face the night she confided in Kat about overhearing Elle whisper preparation and exchange. At the time, Kat had dismissed it as Laura's fear-talking, the residual trauma of a near-fatal crash. But when Kat cross-referenced those cryptic entries with local surveillance footage she'd acquired through a friendly clerk at the hardware store, it revealed Leslie slipping into the back door of an old farmhouse on the edge of town. The same farmhouse where Madison was later seen retrieving a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Convinced there was more to the story than Leslie's tear-stained eulogies, Kat dug deeper. Her investigation led her to a midwife's ledger tucked behind medical supplies in a dusty storeroom of the town's historical society. The ledger recorded births and transfers dating back decades, and a single entry from 15 years ago stood out: the birth of a girl named Eva Johnson, daughter of a woman from a neighboring county who bore no mention of later relocation. There was no note of any adoption or transfer to Leslie's care. Yet today, Leslie publicly claimed Eva as her own, weaving a narrative of maternal devotion as Laura lay incapacitated in the hospital. Kat's heart pounded as she cross-checked names and dates. The ledger indicated that Eva's biological mother, identified only as M.J., had given birth at the county hospital, then moved away soon after. No adoption papers were ever filed in the town's records. There was no legal trail of custody transfer. The logical conclusion: Eva had been taken from her real mother without proper consent, and Leslie had stepped in, claiming parentage under a cloak of convenience and false grief. Worse still, as Kat sifted through Laura's letters Laura had intended to mail to the local police station, but never sent, she found sharp accusations aimed directly at Eva. Laura feared Eva was in danger, writing in one passage, "Leslie doesn't want me talking. She's making Eva into her shield." Adding to the chilling revelations, Kat uncovered a letter Leslie had penned to Madison, instructing her to eliminate the threat posed by Laura's revelations. The phrase "eliminate the threat" was later crossed out, replaced with a hand-scrawled, "misdirect blame." Pausing, Kat felt a wave of nausea at the realization. Leslie and Madison had conspired not only to steal Eva, but also to engineer the very accident that nearly killed Laura. Replaying the sequence of events in her mind, Kat remembered seeing Madison's car, the same model registered under Leslie's maiden name, parked near the bridge the night of the crash. That scrap of memory, once dismissed, now took on a sinister cast. Kat imagined Madison at the wheel, Leslie pulling away in the shadows, and Laura's car spiraling out of control into the river. The truth hit her like a physical blow. With proof mounting, Kat knew she had to act swiftly and carefully. She reached out to Eva under the pretext of organizing a memorial fundraiser for Laura's recovery. Inviting Eva to meet at Kat's studio under the guise of planning decorations, Kat steered the conversation towards family. Gently, she revealed that the story Eva had always believed off Leslie's unconditional love might not hold the whole truth. Eva's face went pale as she listened to Kat describe the ledger, the hidden journal entries, and the midwife's records. Kat placed the faded pages on the coffee table, sliding them across to Eva. Tears welled in Eva's eyes as she ran her fingers over the fragile ledger page. How could she whispered. Her voice cracked on the word, betrayal staining the air between them. Eva's entire identity felt upended at that moment, the foundation of her world shaken. Kat reached out and took Eva's hands in hers. You deserve to know your truth. I'm sorry this is coming so late. Eva's trembling breath echoed in the quiet studio. For a moment, she seemed lost between shock and rage, as though the ground had opened beneath her feet. Then, with sudden resolve, she wiped her tears, standing straighter. I need to find her, she said, voice firm. My real mother, I have to look for her myself. Kat nodded, pride and concern warring in her chest. I'll help you, she said. We'll gather every clue we can find and we'll start tracing her. But you have to be careful. Leslie and Madison won't let this go quietly. Over the next several days, Kat and Eva worked in tandem, scouring public records, contacting old neighbors, and following every lead. Kat's diligence uncovered a name, Maryanne Jacobs, a woman who had lived just outside town many years ago before abruptly moving to the city. A surviving neighbor remembered Maryanne as a kind woman with bright laughter and a fierce love for her newborn daughter. But after Eva's birth, whispers circulated about a tragic accident of fire that destroyed their farmhouse, prompting Maryanne's sudden departure. No official report ever confirmed her relocation, and the trail went cold. Eva clutched a faded photograph Maryanne had sent Kat, a candid shot of mother and daughter on a porch, smiling in the summer sun. Maryanne's eyes were gentle, yet haunted, as if she carried a secret sorrow. Eva studied the photograph until every detail felt etched in her memory: the slight curl of Maryanne's hair, the simple white dress Eva wore, and the way Maryanne's arm cradled her. That's me, Eva whispered, voice small. They identified Maryanne's last known address, a modest apartment building in the city. It would mean a long trip, but Eva was determined. Kat arranged travel plans and provided her with a basic list of questions to ask, names of people who might remember, details to confirm parentage, and instructions on how to approach Maryanne gently to avoid re-traumatizing her. Eva's departure was quiet. At dawn, Kat drove her to the bus station, loaded with carefully prepared envelopes containing copies of the ledger, Laura's letters, and a heartfelt note explaining Eva's purpose: to reconnect with her mother and to expose the truth. Eva clasped Kat's hand, gratitude and fear mingling in her gaze. Thank you, she said softly. For everything. Kat watched the bus pull away, her heart heavy but resolute. She returned to the studio, where the soft morning light streamed through the windows, illuminating the scattered paperwork. In that serene space, determination settled over her. She would remain in town, gathering further evidence and bracing for Leslie's inevitable retaliation. Because once Eva found Maryanne Jacobs, and once the truth was laid bare, Leslie and Madison would stop at nothing to protect their secret. Meanwhile, Leslie moved through her days with a brittle calm. She continued her public role as devoted mother, attending school functions with Eva at her side, delivering tearful speeches about resilience, and accepting donations for Laura's medical fund. Yet behind closed doors, Leslie's composure cracked. She received anonymous packages, blood-stained fragments of Laura's journal, a single white rose pinned to her pillow, and a cryptic note, "Truth." Each delivery sent a jolt of panic through her veins. Madison, ever loyal yet wary, insisted they flee the town and start anew, but Leslie refused to abandon the life she had meticulously constructed. She needed to root out the threat first. As days passed, Kat's informants in town reported seeing Leslie and Madison whispering urgently in the backyard of Leslie's house, sometimes at odd hours when no light shone in the windows. The once pristine garden now showed signs of neglect, wilted flowers and overturned planters testifying to unseen turmoil. Kat circulated a discreet query among trusted neighbors, piecing together the timeline of Leslie's recent movements, late-night drives to the county lines, visits to storage units, furtive phone calls to unlisted numbers. Each clue painted a portrait of a woman on the edge of desperation. Unknown to Leslie, Kat had secured a search warrant under the guise of investigating a minor property dispute and had permission to inspect a storage locker registered in Leslie's name. The locker, nestled in a dimly lit industrial park on the outskirts of town, contained little more than dusty crates of holiday decorations and old furniture. Tucked behind a false panel in the back, however, Kat found a locked wooden chest. Inside lay contracts bearing Maryanne Jacobs's signature, adoption papers forged to transfer Eva's custody, and a cache of photographs documenting Eva's infancy alongside letters from Madison detailing the plan to gift Eva to Leslie after Sarah Johnson's accident. There was also a folder labeled Operation Laura, containing eyewitness accounts and blueprints of the bridge where Laura's crash occurred. The evidence was irrefutable. Kat photographed every document, then sealed the chest back in place. She texted Eva, "I have everything. Be careful. We move fast now." Across town, Eva stood outside Maryanne Jacobs's apartment building, her heart hammering as she raised her hand to the buzzer. Inside, a voice answered, soft, cautious, tinged with surprise. "Hello." Eva impersonated courtesy and composure as she introduced herself. "My name is Eva. I believe I'm your daughter." She waited, breath held, while the buzzer clicked and the door buzzed. The elevator ride up felt interminable. When the door finally opened, Eva saw Maryanne standing there, hair silvered at the temples, eyes widening at the sight of a face she recognized only from a faded photograph. Maryanne's gaze shifted to the envelopes in Eva's hand, then back to Eva herself. Tears welled in Maryanne's eyes as she reached out, voice trembling, "Oh, my sweet girl." Behind that door, a reunion decades in the making would unfold. Eva would share the ledger, Laura's letters, and the adoption papers, offering Maryanne both answers and an opportunity for justice. For the first time, the truth would stand revealed. Leslie and Madison's betrayal, the stolen childhood, the orchestrated accident. All that remained was the coming reckoning for Leslie, for Madison, and for a town that stood on the brink of losing the comfortable lie it had long accepted. As Kat watched Eva disappear into the building with Maryanne, she steeled herself for the storm that was sure to follow, knowing that the real journey, one of confrontation, redemption, and closure, was only just beginning. As Eva crossed the threshold into Maryanne Jacobs's apartment, Kat remained outside, leaning against the hallway wall with a silent prayer brimming on her lips. The aged linoleum floor gleamed under the fluorescent light, and the faint aroma of lavender drifted through the open door, an echo of the garden Eva had longed for. Inside, Eva and Maryanne spoke in hushed tones, their voices tremulous at first, then growing stronger as mother and daughter found one another across the years of separation. Maryanne's small living room was lined with framed photographs, a wedding portrait of her younger self, a faded snapshot of a newborn cradled in a hospital bassinet, and, most poignantly, a photo of Laura smiling beside a very young Eva, both swaddled in blankets. Eva's breath caught as she recognized the moment frozen in her earliest memory, one she had long believed belonged to Leslie's household. Now, with the truth laid bare, the image glowed like an old secret reclaimed. Eva unfolded the envelopes Kat had prepared. Gently, she removed the midwife's ledger page, the forged adoption papers, and Laura's unsent letters. Maryanne traced her finger along the neat columns of names and dates, tears brimming in her eyes. Then she read the adoption papers, Leslie's signature alongside Madison's, a legal fiction that retroactively erased Eva's true history. Maryanne's hands shook as she scanned the lines, each word a dagger of betrayal. "I thought I'd lost you forever," Maryanne whispered, voice quivering. She reached for Eva, wrapping her arms around the young woman she had never truly let Gavin when life demanded she vanish. Eva clung to her, sobbing, the years of longing pouring through her tears. In that embrace, mother and daughter wove their separate griefs into a shared tapestry of pain and resilience. Meanwhile, Kat slipped back to her car and drove to the storage locker. Her mind raced with possibilities. This new alliance between Eva and Maryanne would be a powerful weapon against Leslie and Madison, but also a beacon that would surely draw their ire. She needed to prepare. Slowing her breath, she retrieved the photographs she had taken of the forged documents and ledger entries. She would send copies to a trusted attorney and to Morgan Reyes, the investigative journalist known for exposing powerful individuals. The public would need to know, but timing was crucial. Too early, and Leslie's influence could quash the story. Too late, and the evidence might disappear. Back at Maryanne's apartment, Eva and her mother sat side by side on a threadbare couch. Maryanne shared recollections of the fire that had consumed their farm-housing accident, or so the official report said. She had been hospitalized, delirious, and when she awoke, her baby was gone. Officials claimed the child had perished in the blaze, but a lone midwife, frightened by the implications, had surreptitiously recorded the truth. The baby had been removed before the flames took hold. Those ledger entries were her only proof. Eva listened, anger and sorrow warring within her. "Leslie and Madison orchestrated everything," she murmured, voice tight. "They stole me, set the accident in motion, all to cover their tracks." Maryanne's tears fell silently. She had long suspected foul play, but evidence had eluded her until now. Together, they drafted a letter to the district attorney, enclosing the ledger page, birth records, and Madison's letters to Leslie. They sealed the envelope, sealing their quest for justice. Across town, Leslie prowled her manicured garden, phone pressed to her ear. Madison's voice crackled through the speaker, urgent and frightened. "They've found her," Madison hissed. "Eva's with her mother, and Kat has the paperwork. If we don't act now, the DA will have everything." Leslie's hand tightened on the handset. Beneath her calm facade, panic leapt like a trapped animal. "Send Marcus," she ordered. Madison hesitated. Marcus was their ace, Leslie's cousin and a former security consultant with no scruples. He had helped them before, bribing officials, shredding inconvenient documents, arranging accidents for those who asked too many questions. Leslie knew employing him again risked exposure of deeper secrets, but time had run out. Within minutes, a black SUV rolled to a stop near Maryanne's block. Kat, meanwhile, had parked half a block away and was watching on her phone's covert feed. She saw the SUV's passenger door open and a tall, broad-shouldered man step out, his gaze sweeping the street. Kat's heart hammered. She tapped a quick message to Eva, "Find a safe place." "Marcus is here." Then she dialed Morgan Reyes. "It's time," she whispered into the phone. Upstairs, Eva hugged Maryanne one last time before slipping out through the fire escape window. Maryanne's arms opened wide, but Eva squeezed her mother's hand. "Report to the DA now," she said. "I'll meet you there." Then she climbed down into the night, vanishing into the alley. Downstairs, Kat joined her, ushering her toward the car. The SUV's headlights swept the street like searching eyes. Marcus reinserted himself in the driver's seat and peered at the darkened sidewalk. "Stay low," Kat urged, pulling Eva behind a row of parked cars. They sprinted to Kat's sedan, hearts hammering. Kat slammed the door shut and locked it. As they peeled away, Kat reached for her phone. "Morgan," she whispered. The line clicked, then Morgan's voice crackled, resolute. "I'm livin' 5. Send the documents to our secure drop. We'll run the story with everything you have. This ends tonight." Meanwhile, Leslie stood on her porch, arms folded, watching her phone screen crackle with incoming alerts. A breaking news push notification titled, "Local Mother Exposes Adoption Fraud and Hit-and-Run Conspiracy." Leslie recognized Kat's byline immediately. The article's summary revealed, Leslie Thomas had orchestrated both the theft of Eva from her biological mother and the staged accident that nearly killed Laura. Madison had acted as her accomplice. The evidence would be published within minutes. Leslie's world tilted. She felt the ground crumble under her feet as her phone buzzed with calls from the DA's office, from local TV stations, from reporters. Panic and fury warred inside her. She managed to dial Madison. Their whispered exchange crackled with blame and hysteria, but Leslie cut it short. She sprinted inside to her safe reup panic closet behind the laundry room, stocked with cash and false passports. She refused to be taken alive by scandal. She would flee the country if necessary. At the DA's office, Eva and Maryanne arrived breathless but unbowed. The receptionist, accustomed to tales of small-town tragedies, listened in stunned silence as Maryanne laid out the forged documents. Within moments, an investigator ushered them into an interview room. Cameras from news crews panned the building's marble pillars. Morgan Reyes appeared on a makeshift set in the lobby, her report crisp and unflinching, in a stunning turn. Evidence uncovered by citizen journalist Kat Richardson confirms that Leslie Thomas and her accomplice Madison engaged in a decades-long fraud and a deliberate attempt on the life of Laura Harper. Leslie is now a person of interest as police search for her whereabouts. Far from the DA's offices, Kat watched the broadcast from the safety of her living room, phone glued to her ear with Morgan on the line. "The footage will air in 10 minutes. You did well. Eva's safe." Kat closed her eyes, relief mingling with adrenaline. "She's with the DA now," she confirmed. Maryanne too. Back in Leslie's mansion, the lights were off. The grand halls lay draped in shadow. Madison paced the foyer, clutching a burn bag full of shredded papers, her last attempt to destroy incriminating evidence. She heard the SUV's engine roar to life outside and froze. Too late. She rushed out to the driveway, but the car was gone. Panic clutched her chest as the front door burst open. Leslie appeared, face ashen, suitcase in hand. "They've cut off our escape routes," Leslie rasped. "Public and legal authorities are onto us. We split ways. Leave town within the hour." Madison's eyes flicked to Leslie's trembling hand. "What about the files?" she asked. Leslie stared at the fine leather grip of her suitcase. "I'll carry nothing but what I can destroy. We vanish singly. We don't cross paths." As Madison fled through the back gate, Leslie paused for one last glance at the home she had built on lies. Sirens wailed in the distance, now police cars converging on her property. She swallowed bile, then turned and sprinted toward her panicked closet. Meanwhile, in the DA's interview room, Eva and Maryanne sat across from 2 detectives and a district attorney. The DA rifled through the ledger, tracing his finger along the rows of names. He looked up at Maryanne. "This is staggering," he said. "We will issue a warrant for Leslie Thomas's arrest immediately. Madison will be subpoenaed to testify. You both should leave town until the case progresses. Your safety is our priority." Eva nodded, exhaustion and triumph mingling on her face. "I just want justice," she whispered. Maryanne reached for her hand, offering strength. At Kat's door, the phone rang. It was Eva. "They've got Leslie's property surrounded," Eva said. "I'll come by after." "We did it." Kat closed her laptop and stepped outside. The night air was cool, carrying the distant echoes of police sirens and news choppers overhead. She looked up at the sky, stars winking through thin clouds. The town she loved had been rocked by secrets and lies, but now the path forward lay open, fraught with healing and revelation, but unchained at last from the past's burdens. In the days ahead, Leslie would be hunted across state lines. Madison's testimony would reveal deeper ties to powerful figures, and Laura, slowly recovering, would learn the full extent of the conspiracy that had nearly taken her life. Meanwhile, Eva and Maryanne would rebuild their relationship, forging new memories rooted in truth. Kat would stand by their side, chronicling each step in her website's ongoing exposé. And as justice unfolded, the town would reckon with its own complicity, finding strength in the knowledge that even the darkest secrets can be brought into the light if only someone dares to seek them. The long night of conspiracies, betrayals, and near tragedy had given way to dawn. Beyond the comfortable facades and borrowed identities, real mothers and daughters were reunited, true villains were unmasked, and hope hard-earned but unbreakable rose anew. The gates of pretense lay shattered behind them, opening onto a horizon vast with possibility and redemption.